Responsibility and the invoicing solutions.
Oja kumpa irisiti eno risiti yani irisiti yani eno irisiti yani no irisiti yani eno risiti
gaga dio timani itindo kwa mwanguzi wape mumasaka awangude boda boda bajaji bokisa epiabu baba ukala uliwa
irisiti oja kumpa irisiti tumpa bidara irisiti oja kumpa irisiti tumpa bidara.
Amanya gange nditibwa Katongole Richard okuva emabega nzize tugula ebintu wano ku Moses Hardware naye nga lusizi batuwaza irisiti nga tuzisaba kati olwaliro bwe mbadde awo ne mbalengira nga balina promotion mitoni bayitamu neŋŋamba naye lwaki sisindika zino gundi sisi zange muyola enendaba oba nange nsobola okubeera omu ku abawanguzi. Badde ndi awo ekawungeezi essaawa nga 11 kitunga zingira 12 ngenza okulaba nga bankubira essimu sosa butakikkiriza ngenza okulaba nga byaddala ng'epikiweeri ne baginkwasa buli kimu ne bakimpa kati nkubiriza buli muntu yenna yandibadde ng'agenda oba mu dduuka oba aduwe oba famasi oba kyakala oba ki n'asaba erisiiti kuba bannaaye nnungi nnyo era nnungi ddala era neebaza nnyo URA ekwasiza ebiki eno buli kimu kyonna kye bakoze kuba mu kusooka n'adde sibyekakasa bulungi naye nkikompamiza ekituufu bya ddala temuli buyaaye temuli ki era neeyanziza nnyo byonna neeyanze
ojja kumpa irisiti tompa birala mpa irisiti yange. That's right, insist on getting your e-receipt. It's your ticket to fantastic prizes including motorbikes, laptops, fridges and a fully paid 6-day safari for 2 in Uganda. Take a picture of your e-receipt, upload it to the URA website or mobile app and you could be the lucky winner. The more receipts you upload, the higher your chances of winning. Terms and conditions apply. More details on our social media channels. Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together. Aujourd'hui tout est de l'eau. Te wafunye risiti wagenze kuduka no kule bintu. Te wafunye risiti dayo funye risiti. Teleka risiti nyoza risiti irisiti eyo jole sesi yange irisiti eyo jole sesi yange irisiti tompa bidara irisiti oja kumpa irisiti tompa bidara irisiti oja kumpa irisiti eno risiti yani irisiti yange eno irisiti yange.
Sogera bugenzi kuduka onawo oguze ekintu n'ogamba mpa irisiti yange weewaawo n'ogenda n'odownloadinga app yaffe mu Google Play Store oba mu Apple Play Store n'odownloadinga app eyo mpa irisiti yange n'ogiteeka ku simu yo olumala ogiteekako weewandiise olumala okwewandiisa yingizaamu physical document number oba scanninga QR code eno olumala submitinga fe wano nga tuzannya akazannyo esawa naye n'abantu baffe abali mu bizinensi naffe abagula twemanyiize okugaba n'okusaba irisiti gyeyo kampeni gye tuliko olunaku olwaleero hoyima iyo kyoinako
dayofune risiti teleka risiti nyoza risiti irisiti eyo jole sesi yange irisiti eyo jole sesi yange irisiti tompa bidara irisiti oja kumpa irisiti tompa bidara.
Bulijjo ogula saba e-receipt, bulijjo ogula saba e-invoice, byonna bikola kyekimu kasita oba ng'olina ekyo kye twetaaga wali. Mutuwadde omusolo mungi omwaka oguwedde, y'ensonga lwaki bwe tuli tubasomese ate nga bwe tubaddiza kyova olaba nti ebirabo twayise nabyo nga kwotadde piki ezo bannamukisa be bajja okuddayo nazo era tugenda kubigaba nga tetunnava wano. Weewaawo bwe bakuwa ka receipt laba nti kuliko verification code keka akantu akali wansi akalimu obutonyeza obungi kati nga bw'okalaba wano kekano. Olwaleero wano we tuli tukiyita activation eyehoyima tulabe nti ensonga zino tuleka muzitambuza we tunayingira mu kalulu akawamu nga mulina receipt eziwerako ze mutuleetedde.
Funye risiti, dayo funye risiti, teleka risiti, teleka risiti, nyoza risiti, irisiti. Eyo jolese siyange.
Njagala okutegeeza nti essaawa zino owangudde essimu ya smartphone. Duka nyukava mu field. Twagala okutegeeza tuli wano ku Boma olina akazanyo kayibala ekona ke weetabyemu. Webale nnyo saawa eno twagala okutegeeza nti yeggwe munnamukisa awangudde pikipiki olunaku olwaleero esooso gayiwa mu kampani.
Eyo jolese siyange, eyange irisiti, tompa birala irisiti, ojja kumpa irisiti, tompa birala irisiti, ojja kumpa. Aujourd'hui tout est lelo, te wafunye risiti, wagenze kuduka no kule bintu, te wafunye risiti, dayo funye risiti, teleka risiti, nyoza risiti, irisiti. Eyo jolese siyange, eyange irisiti, eyo jolese siyange, eyange irisiti, tompa birala irisiti, ojja kumpa irisiti, tompa birala irisiti.
Anyamiriku alatendi michoko. I tried downloading. You tried to download the application. Put in the application. Yes. The steps you will follow. Okay. After, the steps comes after the application. Okay. Meaning that on the e-receipt. Yes. Which means there are two types. Okay. Which is the e-receipt and then e-invoice. Okay. Okay. Enter the mobile number. Okay. Date of birth. Thank you.
Akade bazi business yapini yani. My receipts kisi my records matakimba. So that's
it is a business record. It shows what you have bought, how much. In case it has a damage, you can take it back.
My name is Peter Nyankori. Domestic Tax Office.
Tax
You might come enter a supermarket, or a shop where they charge you according to the size of your stomach.
That was
with the e-receipt, you are sure that the taxes you have paid will be remitted to URA. It will reach under all means, because once you have paid, they have issued, URA can easily see instantly.
Ale midu mi okuni indi. Mi vazi midu risafa security indi. Mami ni yazelo de ale mi fentiko. You have won yourself about the border Bajaj motorcycle.
Zekio adarene like mito FGN ngon mito submitting ngon dalera. Ayo okay. Katedalene yazio. Receipt money bizo apayoze ngoni de diati. Animal bandivi ni musu deliver mavo. Ta androma baby dio bizo.
Mantami onvereda. Iyo tangoni.
Irisiti, ojja kumpa irisiti, tompa birala irisiti, ojja kumpa irisiti. Aujourd'hui tout est lelo, te wafunye risiti, wagenze kuduka no kule bintu, te wafunye risiti, dayo funye risiti, teleka risiti, nyoza risiti, irisiti. Eyo jolese siyange, eyange irisiti, eyo jolese siyange, eyange irisiti, tompa birala irisiti, ojja kumpa irisiti, tompa birala irisiti, ojja kumpa irisiti. Eno risiti yani, irisiti yani, eno irisiti yani, no irisiti yani, eno risiti yani, irisiti.
When you are a
that they are going to promote e-receipt.
Okay.
I went and looked for my receipt and started entering after downloading the app.
In one URL, what you can, you are young to 12 before a bill bar. Din what you can, you look e-receipt, me receipt, mamega. Pierre Taylor did a Nicky Cheroka weed, you can't my can. Supermarket, well, I wait a better give me my can. When you can mean receipt, make a meggy. A tino beru to a beach being a wakani. Did you be better in? Put what take you a nim what you later, Chimbaraja, what made the water a nim. You put a gift with your map on one, so pay what the uncle my catch. You know, Okara can jump on you for a day between you. For a better job, my good participating with Chake, La Wool, the old team, congratulations to the people who have participated and have taken away something.
Ilayo pili manyen bajaj boxa. Afiyete. Ijikwene. Akitenga pete. Ringu full ringi national ID ni yotabi mpame kumbedi.
My name is Omar Ambrose. I'm a businessman and a taxpayer as well. I've been in the business for more than 20 years now. And my business location is on plot number 12, Kayo Road, Bulu City. I'm very happy to win this motorcycle of e-receipt, because for so long I've been paying taxes and I've been keeping the e-receipts. 2 weeks ago over the radio, they were giving advice about this e-receipt. I started participating in this competition yesterday and today. I submitted very many e-receipts.
Ojakumpa e-receipt, Tompa Vidara e-receipt, Ojakumpa e-receipt.
Tompa Vidara, Mpa e-receipt yange. That's right. Insist on getting your e-receipt. It's your ticket to fantastic prizes, including motorbikes, laptops, fridges, and a fully paid 6-day safari for 2 in Uganda. Take a picture of your e-receipt, upload it to the URA website or mobile app, and you could be the lucky winner. The more receipts you upload, the higher your chances of winning. Terms and conditions apply. More details on our social media channels. Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
These services are free of charge. All you need is a copy of your national ID.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Aujourd'hui, tout est lilo, te wafunye risiti, wagenze kuduka no kule bitu, te wafunye risiti, da yo funye risiti, teleka risiti, nyoza risiti, irisiti. Eyo jole se yange irisiti, eyo jole se yange irisiti, tompa vidara irisiti, ojakumpa irisiti, tompa vidara irisiti, ojakumpa irisiti. Eno risiti yani, irisiti yani.
qualities does.
Good morning, Uganda. Welcome to today's episode of Tax Mchuzi. My name is Anan Priska. I'll be your host today. I would like to send a special shout out to our Machinje people. Thank you for hosting us yesterday at Shibuya Taxi Park. We had a good time giving back to you. And our winners, congratulations once again to Kwikiriza Adam, who walked away with a border. It was nice to be with you and to award you. And everyone else who is participating, keep those receipts coming. We shall be coming to your town very soon. Today we're going to talk about EFRIS and still the Mpa Irisi Change campaign. And in studio to walk us through this topic is Hafsa Sebria. Hafsa, welcome to the show. Welcome to Tax Mchuzi.
Thank you. Good morning, Priska. And good morning, Uganda. I'm glad to be here once again to again talk about something great that has been happening within the past few days.
Okay, thank you, Hafsa. So many of you have seen the Mpa Irisi Change campaign happening. You know about it. And with the Mpa Irisi Change campaign, there's a lot of talk about, the e-receipt. What is an e-receipt? And, that comes up a lot. But then the other thing that also comes up is EFRIS. What is EFRIS? What is EFRIS? So some of you have gotten and understand what EFRIS is and what the e-receipt is. But there's also some of you who do not yet understand this, right? And that's why Hafsa is here. We're going to start off by talking about EFRIS. Hafsa, what is EFRIS?
Thank you very much. EFRIS is an application that we rolled out on the 1st of July, 2020. Just within the first COVID period, that's when we rolled it out. And we were basically addressing the fact that we need a standardized receipt. We need a standardized invoice. How should it look like? What should it be, its features? And who is that who is going to give it out? So that's when we rolled it out. And we started with sensitizations here and there, but they were basically tailored to the VAT registered clients. Okay. Those who are VAT registered, because when you go to the tax law, that is in the Tax Procedures Code, Section 73A, it basically emphasizes those who are VAT registered should use the EFRIS platform mandatorily. The rest could or could not. That is why you will see we have the e-receipt and we have the e-invoice, because one has a tax component, that's the e-invoice, and the e-receipt does not have a tax component. When I speak about a tax component, it's basically addressing the value-added tax type. Okay. So that's where we were. So we went moving until now, and ideally we have a number of channels that you can use to generate that document once you're in business. Because we have the portal. For those who have 1, 2, 3 invoices in a day, you can use the portal. But for those that have a number of them, by the way, we in fact, we were encouraging them to use the system to system. Reason, it has an offline mode. And secondly, you may be having an existing ERP. That's an existing billing and receipting system. We don't want you to abandon it, but we wanted you to just integrate it with the URS system. That's when we came up with software integrators, the system integrators that we accredited, and we put a list via the portal so that you can just choose whom you want to work with and negotiate how much it will take. So basically, that's how we've been moving. But whatever system you've been using before EFRIS, we were just encouraging you that ensure that it's not a pirated version, because ideally we cannot integrate on a pirated version. So we had the portal, we had the system to system, we had the electronic fiscal devices, because we realized amongst our clients, some clients have a marketing technique of moving out in the outskirts and doing the selling. So when one is doing such selling, then it's difficult to ring office and say, invoice this, send it. So that's when we came up with the electronic fiscal devices. And when we came up with them, we had to accredit a vendor, and that is Rank Consult.
Okay.
They are located in industrial area, the 3rd Street, somewhere there. We have directions in case you would want it. It's a simple machine that is like a point of sale. You can, by the way, move with it when you're doing road sales. When somebody needs the document you've sold, it moves out with a small paper. The way you go to a supermarket and that small paper is a receipt, that's the way it works. So ideally, it also helps because it can also work on an offline mode. Because down in the rural setup, you may not get the network. So ideally, as we've been moving, we have been patching here and there to see that we can provide for each and everybody who is in business, so that we don't leave people out, because ideally we want you to sell and sell a lot so that you can give back in taxes, ideally in the same font. So that is where we've been. We are basically addressing the VAT registered clients. Kindly make sure you are invoicing via the EFRIS platform. Because if you are not doing it, then at the end of the day, the penalties will come up. And whenever penalty comes, it eats up your profits. If that is not enough, it continues to eat up your capital. Yet I need to find you there next year. So ideally, that's why we want to seemingly move together. The way we collect taxes these days, it's a stakeholder relation.
Yes.
How is it? How are you doing? Do you have any challenges? How can we help? Because it's a partnership. We need to keep you in business. In fact, when you move out of business, we are the ones who make a loss at the end of it all. Yes, for you, you're out of business, but I'm no longer counting you on my register. So if I have about 10, 20, 100 of those, then I'm not in business. Because ideally, I'm looking at widening the tax base. Because when I widen the tax base, it will actually help me to deliver the country to economic independence. Because economic independence is basically this. If this is not there, you can't be independent, even though you're an individual in a home. Once this is not there, you still have to depend on somebody. If they've left Kameza, then Kameza is not enough. You have to make sure you behave very well, and the Kameza may increase. So ideally, that's where we want to see the country years going by, so that we don't depend more on the aid, the donor aid, these loans here and there, and they have strings attached, and at times the strings attached don't favor our cultures. So at the end of the day, it is a defeating decision to make. So that is why we are trying to emphasize that kindly see how we keep in business. In case there is a challenge, get to us. We have the solutions. And if they are not there, we can come up with them with you to see that you keep in business. Issue that fiscalized invoice. Issue that fiscalized receipt. Because with receipts, at the end of the day, when you look at it, we don't have any VAT component there. But as we were crafting this solution, it had to be an all-inclusive.
Okay.
Because you'll find most of the suppliers to these VAT registered clients may not be VAT registered.
Yes.
Just take a look at a supermarket. I'm then supplying bagia, the other one supplying bread, the other one supplying, they're not VAT registered. But ideally, the supermarket doesn't manufacture anything. It just relies on suppliers. And some of these suppliers are not VAT registered. But moving on, because this supplier is a VAT registered client, as they are filing this return, it will push them to have a fiscalized document. That is when I brought in the e-receipt. At least worst case scenario, issue the e-receipt to the supermarket person. Because ideally, they have paid you. They have bought the GNATs for you, from you, the SIM, the what, the small things, the snacks and all that. At least you issue it to them, because they'll need to claim on their expenses at the end of the day. Fine, it doesn't have a VAT component. But at the end of the year, this is income tax, where they need to provide for their expenses. Because in expenses, we'll see the purchases and other administrative expenses. So at the end of the day, it is a good practice when you look at it, and it helps in record keeping.
Yes, that actually I was going to get into the part where I asked, what are some of the benefits of EFRIS to me, the business person?
Ideally, record keeping. Because at the end of the day, you have kept this record. but by the end of the year, the receipt is not clearly visible. You equally can't see in the receipt, but ideally they give it to you. But with the e-receipt, the value of the receipt is on the system. We keep it on the system. You just log into your account, you get a report. Even though this receipt is no longer clear, this invoice is no longer clear, everything is on the system. You just log on there, you'll get your purchases. And ideally, it also helps you in filing. It's very quick. You get a report for purchases, you get a report for imports in case you imported, you get a report for sales. So it helps you either way in filing. If you're VAT registered, it makes life easier. And even though you're filing for, say, income tax, at the end of the year, you get the 12 months report for purchases. You get the 12 months report for your sales. So it's easy when you're trying to file your returns. And thirdly, when we look at when you look at some transactions, ideally in business, transactions at times are challenging in such a way that you may transact, but at the end of the day, you may need to do some return inwards. Maybe the goods you purchased have an issue, they need to be taken back. So as you take them back, what are you going to present? Because somebody can easily say, I don't remember you. When did you come? But with this, you say, but I mean, this is yours. You supplied me, but along the way, I'm looking at the expiry date. It's like by the time you supplied, the things had already expired. I wasn't keen at looking at them, but when I reached, I looked at them, they expired, and this is your receipt. So kindly swap and give me those that are still valid on the market, and maybe have these to destroy them. So it makes life easier for a business person when you come to issues where there are disagreements here and there. And it clearly even shows how much tax you have paid. Because when we look at the tax component in those transactions, the immediate one is VAT. So it gives you a clear picture of how your business is moving. Because once you pay VAT, that is your input VAT. And if you have a lot of purchases, then that means there is a lot of VAT that is tied in there because you haven't sold. So because when you're looking at VAT in VAT, when your input VAT on your purchases or expenses exceeds your output VAT, then the difference can be claimed as a refund. A refund claim in the event that that amount exceeds 5 million. So, I mean, it creates ease now in doing business with that e-receipt, with that e-invoice. It creates ease than where we have been, because as tax people, we need to keep on improving these systems so that our clients at least benefit from them, they appreciate them moving forward. Because fine, our mandate is to assess, collect and account for revenue. But as we are assessing, how do the systems work? Are they easily compatible with the public, with the users? Can they understand them? How simple are they? That is it. Because even when you're looking at the campaign we've been running, how simple is it to upload the receipt or the invoice on the system? So they have to be as simple as possible. It's not too academic. You don't need to go to the class. You just look at your phone. It is a smartphone. Just go to Play Store, put Mpa e-receipt yange. It's among the downloads. Select it. It comes as an app. Install it. That's well. Register simple things, both of your names, your date of birth, your phone number, your mother's maiden name. That is what the registration wants. And it's a one-off. So you just keep on submitting. Once you get, you go to submit. Put in the EFD, put in the district, put in the division, say if you're in Kampala, submit. So do that, repeat, let it be part of your daily, because it will even help you in winning.
Yes. And you literally just took our viewers through the process of submitting their e-receipt.
Yes.
But there's probably someone out there watching and they're thinking, what does an e-receipt look like? Because some people actually struggle with it. There is my brother is taking part in this campaign, and sometimes he's always asking, is this an e-receipt or is it not? You know, so what are those features?
Ideally, when you're looking at the features of a fiscalized document, that is what I will call an e-receipt or an e-invoice. You need to look out for three things. Okay. One is a physical document number, the number that replaced an invoice number. or others could call it a URA invoice number. When somebody calls it a URA invoice number, at times it tells you that they already had an existing system. Maybe they're on system to system. So they didn't do a lot of changes in their system, but they integrated with our system. Then second is a verification code. And ideally with a physical document number, it will have about 12 to 13 digits, just about there. Then verification code has about 20 digits. It's still system generated. Then we have a QR code. Just below your invoice or your e-receipt or your e-invoice, just below there is an image that has dotted black dots there. That is what we call a QR code. Reason why the QR code is there, because if you want to validate this particular paper or invoice you have or e-receipt you have, in case your phone has a barcode scanner, you just activate it with some data, then you just look through the QR code. Once everything is okay, it will display what it has for that through that QR code. And you'll just compare what it has displayed with the actual e-receipt or e-invoice.
And can I just scan a QR code to submit, to upload my receipt?
Ideally, submission, we left it to punching in the FDN number, because you'll find some of the users, or most of them, are not very familiar with the QR code scanning. It will bring issues here and there. Yet our work is to simplify the processes, simplify the technology, so that the users can use it comfortably.
Okay.
Yes.
So what if I don't have a smartphone? What other mode or method can I use to submit my e-receipt?
Ideally, if you don't have a smartphone, what we've been doing in the different activations, you just come to us in the hub, we just go online, we go to the portal, we go to the web, create for you an account, then we help you submit through that. Because as we are creating the account, we are capturing your names, we are capturing your phone number, all your details are being captured. Still in the raffle draw, it will still pull out your phone number as a lucky winner, then you'll come for the prize. Because we need to handhold you in that process. Not everybody will understand to do it. Because via the phone, it's simpler, because we are used to holding the phone on a daily, so you can navigate and see where is the Play Store, or is the Apple Store, then you start with the application.
Okay. So you said there is prizes to be won.
Yes.
What are some of those?
Ideally, as we start an activation, because this is Uganda Revenue Authority, it can't go by without any tax awareness. We do some simple tax education so that you understand, first of all, why are we there where we are? Why do we need to talk to you? What do we need to tell you about URA? What do we need to tell you about EFRIS, the e-receipt? Where can you get it? Because we need to still inform you, because we have businesses like pharmacies. Don't enter pharmacy thinking they'll give you an e-receipt. Because ideally the medical services, the medical equipments are not vertible. So for that you may not get an e-invoice or e-receipt there. But maybe we normally tell you the normal things we do on a daily. You walk into a supermarket, you need to buy simple things, even though it's water, even though it is a soda, even though it's bread. So the daily things we use in our life. You may go to a hardware, maybe you want a kilo of nails, you want a bag of cement to go and do some repairs at home. Ask for an e-receipt or an e-invoice. When you go to a bar in the evening to relax yourself, you've gone in a hotel, you've gone in a restaurant, they're medium-sized and big, they'll be in position to issue you. Because at times when businesses are very small, ideally they haven't qualified for VAT. So you may not find them registered for EFRIS. It is well, it's not an offense, because they haven't reached the category in which the minister gazetted to be mandatorily on EFRIS. But at times others do it because they need to maintain their records in a particular format. And maybe some are pushed by the people they do business with, who push them to issue them with a fiscalized document, and that's an e-receipt. But at the end of the day, when we are starting the activations, we basically do some tax education to put you up to speed, to know URA didn't just come for fun, but we are learning with the fun. We are learning with the music. We are learning with the entertainment. So ideally, for those who can grasp in what we have said and answer a few questions, we first give out small gifts, teasers. We have headphones, we have gym mats, we have tummy trimmers, we have capes, we have t-shirts, simple notebooks that are branded with our logos and everything, to know that you got it through a particular competition. So we move on to the big ones. These are the ones who have downloaded the receipts, the app, and probably submitted the receipts. Okay. So that's where we look at the big gifts. Prizes. We have been looking at Samsung phones. We've been looking at tablets. We've been looking at a laptop. We've been looking at a motorbike. So ideally, those are the big prizes that we have been assigning for the climax of the activities, because we've been doing it in the different areas. Because
what
you
are
can't
some
call.
Of the places you've been at?
When we started the whole activation, we started on the 10th, and we were in Hoima. Then on the 12th, we went to Arua. Then on the 14th, we were in
Gulu.
We were in Gulu. Then the following week, on the 17th, we were in Lira. Then on the 19th, we were in Bali. Then on the 21st, we were in Jinja. Okay. So then the week after, we went to Masaka on the 24th, if I'm not mistaken. 23rd, we went to Masaka. Then we continued to Mbarara. Then we ended in Fort Portal for that third week.
Regional.
Yes, we tried to reach out to most of the regions. Kutano at the park. Then Masjid grounds, the park for the lorries and the sand depot there. So that's where we were this week on Monday. On Tuesday, we went to Natete Tax Park for those that are in the Rubaga division, because we started with Kawempe, then Rubaga. Then Saturday, we were in Machindi. Then we were in Chibuye Taxi Park.
Okay, and then today?
Just about there. So today we are kind of spreading the gospel and relaxing a bit to prepare the audience back. And tomorrow we will be at the taxi park.
And when will you be in Nakawa? Because someone was asking on Twitter, when I come into Nakawa.
Nakawa, it will be, inshallah, it will be on Monday next week. But we'll be at the taxi park. That's the old taxi park. For those in the central bit of it, that will be tomorrow, Friday. Then we close it there with the week. Then look at next week and see, hopefully Monday, we'll look at the Nakawa bit of it.
We'll be coming home.
Exactly. So whoever is in Nakawa division and the villages there under, ideally that would be a next week issue, as we'll be summarizing.
Okay. So after Nakawa, is that when the campaign comes to a close, or people keep submitting?
They will be submitting. They'll keep submitting, because we're organizing for a grand finale, but we need to first finish up with Kampala. Then ideally set a date that will favor all the players that have been in the campaign, and probably those who are interested, and go back to the drawing board, see how best or when we can place it, because now we are going to